bread if it's just like a cookie?
Well, cookie's a form of...
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a grain? Is cookie... Where does cookie from?
You stumped the Jew. Okay.
I can't answer that one.
Well, Mom, when you have the answer, you call me back, okay?
Is a warrior of sharing
I'll
the
think
TYT
about
Sports
it.
Okay, think about it. I
Tell
gotta
Mama
go.
Storm we say hello.
Goodbye.
All right, goodbye.
That's amazing.
Dude.
You stumped the Jew.
Richard Sherman in last night's Seattle Seahawks versus Arizona Cardinals game tore his Achilles. He ruptured it, a la Kobe Bryant. Shout out to Kobe. And also a la Kobe Bryant, who went out and hit free throws after he ruptured his Achilles. Sherman's just walking around the sideline, on the field. Here's 3 seconds. We actually throw it back. It's only 3 seconds of it. You see him say it's torn.
A tear of your Achilles and still be out there.
Calm. It's torn. Tore my Achilles.
It's so
You know what?
casual.
That's what I call thugging it out. He's thugging it out. He wants people to just see that it's an injury that many might complain about. That's what I call, but definitely not him. And it's one of those, it's like a Kobe. Like, what you respect an athlete so much more if they go through an injury that you know for sure you're not going to be able to be walking just up. You're not going to be up at any moment. So all my respect to Richard Sherman.
Look, if I rupture my Achilles, I'm not going to work. I'm not getting out of bed. Postmates is delivering it to my bedroom. Like, this guy, he's walking around. Now, granted, there was somebody on Twitter, and I don't know if he's a real doctor, because even though it's a verified account, it said doctor something, and who knows? Twitter verifies Nazis. So
Is it Dr. Oz?
It wasn't Dr. Oz. It's a very good guess, though. But he did say, once your Achilles is torn or ruptured, that is it. Like, there is no, you can't make it any worse. Like, by playing you could, but just like walking around, you're just dealing with the uncomfort. And if you were to be put on a stretcher and just carried into the locker room or anything like that, walking around on it or being stretchered off won't delay any more like recovery time. It's just insane that he's walking around with a ruptured Achilles in general. 7 years, we have some elements though. So let's get to the pictures were brutal, but I wanted to skip to the one, which is number 4, which is the fact that Richard Sherman is not gonna play a football game for the first time in I think 7 years. And for a staple of an injured team defense that always seems to have it. Cliff Averill this year, for example, last year their secondary. Like, this is a guy who's been there every single day. And then on top of that, the all-injury team, which is next, which is number 5.
Is good.
This is the greatest team that was ever assembled in NFL history. That's better than the Pro Bowlers this year. And you can just see it's a massive, massive blow, including Cliff Averill, by the way, who's another Seahawk, and of course the best defensive name in all of football, Whitney Merciless.
Really good.
Very good name. Willie Cooker's up there too.
Haloti Ngata is also great with the silent G. So a few things to take away. It sucks that Richard Sherman obviously tore his Achilles. A few more numbers, 99 straight games is what he has played. 117 games overall since he broke into the league. That's including the playoffs. Thank you, Jacory. I mean, it sucks. And here's the business of sports. His cap hit next year is $13.5 million. If he shows through rehabilitation that he just isn't fully there and the team doctors believe that he won't recover, they're going to cut him. And there's a good chance that it could easily happen.
And the Patriots will pick him up.
And this is why, and I'm getting off topic a little bit, but this is why, similar to what the NBA has and Major League Baseball has, these guys need to get paid more. Because they're playing the most grueling physical sport. And for all we know, his guaranteed contract the last time was like, it might sound big to us, but to them it's small, like 10 million, and then the rest is incentives or 20 million, what have you. I don't have the exact numbers. But considering that now it seems like we are lining up for this offseason for Richard Sherman if he doesn't come back, because we're already halfway through this respective season, it sucks. But I do hope that he gets better, because not only is he good for the Seattle Seahawks, but he's good for the NFL as well as a human being.
And the Seahawks are one of the best teams right now. And what makes it even more depressing is the fact that I think you hit that right on the dot. Like, he gets so much criticism because of his behavior on the field, not necessarily, actually on the sidelines more than anything, and then off the field. And there's so much disrespect to a player like Richard Sherman, who has gone in and out, day in, day out for you said 99 games?
99 straight and 117 with the playoffs.
Come on, man. Like,
overall,
somebody like that at that point, the NFL is I feel, one of the most corrupted franchises, aside from college sports, of course.
Now.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Hey now.
We'll get to that.
But yeah, it's just tough to see somebody like that just have the potential to be cut when he's invested all the time that he possibly could. He gave the game everything he could, and then he gets his Achilles tore, and now he's potentially risking everything that he's ever worked for.
A few more numbers for you. I know that the defense has been amazing, but having Richard Sherman there and finding him as a gem in the 6th round obviously helped. According to ESPN. I'm sorry?
He's a 6th round pick, one of the best defensive backs ever.
And he was actually, if I recall,
Stanford, right?
Stanford, but coming out of college, they were like, you can't play corner, man. You got to be a wide receiver. And he was like, no, dude, I'm gonna play corner. And obviously he proved everybody wrong. Shows how much we know. So again, the defense has been great because they drafted really well, but since drafting Richard Sherman, they have been #1, ranked 1st in yards allowed per game, ranked 1st in passing yards allowed per game. And since 2011, since he broke in, 32 interceptions. That is the most since 2011. The fact that you have a guy who is Darrelle Revis-like to take away, and when Darrelle Revis, Patrick Peterson, and Richard Sherman were at their highs, those were the 3 best corners for probably about 4 years, I would say. The fact that you had one guy who could take away an entire side of the football field, depending on what sort of package that they were in defensively,
he's an animal.
It is such an incredible advantage. And not only that, to wrap this up, if we do remember, prior to the season, they were thinking about trading him.
Yeah.
Like that was a narrative, and that was a thing.
Because of the contract.
Because of the contract, correct.
Which is the business side of things.
But now we're gonna see what would have happened if they did trade him, because you have Jeremy Lane, who hasn't been good, and a few others. This is not the Seattle Seahawks of 2013, when they had Brandon Browner, who we thought was good, and then turned out to be bad once he left Seattle.
Yeah, that's true.
Walter Thurman and a few others. So we're gonna see exactly what would have happened if they did trade him prior to the season.
Yeah, I think they got to give, on the contract note, I think just 50% is the number that they would have to compromise to for like the NFL Players Association. I think 50% of all NFL contracts should be guaranteed money. So no matter what that number is, it should probably be more, but at the same time there has to be like a sense of, you know, being realistic, because some of these contracts are like 8% guaranteed. Others are not even close to 50. So I think just getting to the point where you sign a $50 million contract, at least 25 of that, if you get injured on day one, you're getting. Because it should get closer. In NBA and baseball, it works differently because more of the money is guaranteed. You lose game checks, but there's like pensions in a way.
But there's also less players. Like the NFL, there's so many players. So I can understand why it's so difficult to make every single player happy.
And the lifespan is only
the lifespan is much shorter.
In the NFL?
Average is shortest.
3.3.
It's much shorter.
And I'm sure for quarterbacks and linemen, it's probably even less.
Yeah.
Or maybe not quarterbacks, but definitely linemen.
I didn't look at specifics. I just remember from like a Facebook video I did when I was researching. Going into the season, the average lifespan of an NFL career is 3.3.
Yeah.
Nice.
What is Richard Sherman gonna do if he doesn't come back?
With the Seahawks?
Just to the NFL. I feel like most players now, can I just say, I feel like most players are thinking not necessarily about the next trade, but my next venture. Like, what is it that I can potentially start growing outside of the
He's got a massive
NFL
brand. Like,
he does. He's so funny. He's so charismatic.
Kobe comparison. Kobe, if he came out recently, said if basketball is the greatest thing I've done, I've failed, which is such a Kobe thing to say. Like, not be okay with being like one of the best ever. Just has to do something else, which is awesome. I think for Sherman, like the blessing to this one is he's not just some cornerback that was good on the Seahawks. He is one of the most recognizable players in the league, and therefore he can take that brand and truthfully do whatever he wants with it. So it's going to be amazing to see what he does. Plus the fact that people realize he's an extremely articulate nerd. He went to Stanford. He was there I think he graduated from Stanford. It wasn't just there for 2 years and then get out. You know, he's obviously very politically outspoken. So he might want to do something along those lines, like with his teammates, the Bennett brothers, which I think he already does do stuff with, like Michael Bennett, Martellus Bennett. So for him, it's a blessing. For a lot of other players, It's not. They don't have that luxury.
To wrap this up, to answer Denise's question, I see him being a human rights advocate. I see him working with a lot of nonprofits when he's done and just giving back.
Same.
For like essentially the platform that he was given, using that to his advantage.
Yeah, and he's gonna do it in such a charismatic way because he's just that kind of player. His interviews, every time he's doing a press conference, he's that guy that you really are listening to what he's saying. Of course, I feel like he comes off as just a very 2D guy, but it's also just the way that he presents himself.
So he farts a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, but he's just that. He's very confident and knows exactly how to get the room's attention without, being silly.
Yeah.
And things that you'd expect sometimes from an NFL player.
Good note to leave on. Wipe it. Boom. Bring it back. Bring it back. Thanks, Jacory. Can we get a camera on Jacory?
I'm thinking
we need a camera. All right, just give us a little 360 spin. Just a little three.
Damn.
Whoa.
Wow, that's
Look
impressive.
at this guy. It's a nice haircut.
Sorry,
It is,
I did the impossible.
What did you do?
There we go. I got the cord stuck in the wheel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry to take away your shine, bro.
No worries.
Your man bun is.
You could. You know what's great about
awesome.
this? You could go to social media like Twitter, where Jacory doesn't have one, to tell him how great his hair looks.
Because you know what? Your man bun is not a struggle bun.
Wow.
Oh.
It's a nice.
Where's the sound
man
effects on
bun.
that
struggle
one?
bun.
It's not
What
a
is
struggle.
a struggle bun?
Oh
Like,
man,
you're
A struggle bun?
A struggle bun.
Google it.
It's super tight. It almost looks like an attachment.
Let's see Jacory's again.
Oh,
He
an
has like
attachment.
texture and see.
Yeah,
it
it's-
looks like it belongs.
it's simple.
It matches.
You're
Plus, I'm
glowing
actually
today.
seeing.
It's going into your beard.
It is very clean. Like everything is
There's a
clean
lot
here.
happening.
Can we see the bun? Just turn for a sec. Yeah, it's.
I like how
clean.
casual he's doing it right now.
You know, I gotta say.
But yeah, no one likes a struggle bun. That is not a struggle bun.
No, not a struggle
Good
bun at
job.
all. This is the first time that I've seen the top of Jacory's head.
Oh, that's right. You've
Well,
you've
this is
grown
also
your hair
my
out
first
for a
time too,
while.
but you guys have known him a lot longer than I have.
I've known him for like 6 weeks.
This is the first time I met Jacory.
What is it with his time span? I keep on thinking it's a lot longer.
Rick was here in the beginning.
Ah,
He started this, all of this,
why does he say 6 weeks then?
because he came back 6 weeks ago.
That's right. I keep on forgetting. Sorry, man.
Off to Mr. Charles Barkley and Lonzo Ball. Charles
perfect
Barkley on the NBA and TNT having a fun time clowning on Los Angeles Lakers rookie guard Lonzo Ball. Here is his joke. Roll tape.
Oh, watch out, Chuck. Watch out.
It'll no longer be the loveliest.
Watch out, Chuck.
It'll no longer be the loveliest village on the plain.
What are you ducking for? Lonzo Ball shooting. Some bricks coming around.
Oh, you're looking at another game.
It's good. Good joke.
If we could run it back towards like the tail end one more time, you never get a reaction out of the Army and the Navy usually, and all of them were
true.
laughing in the back
This is true.
as
This
well.
is true.
Yeah,
This is
it's
true.
completely true.
It'll no longer be the loveliest.
watch out, Chuck.
It'll no longer be the loveliest village on the plain.
What are you ducking for? Lonzo Ball shooting. Some bricks coming around.
Oh, you're looking at another game.
Very disciplined individuals who are just like they're just going
Right.
cracking like they're like captains watching us, lieutenants watching us. Boom! Damn, I'm gonna have to do a lap now.
Or
That's
20
awesome.
push-ups.
At least
Get
20
it.
push-ups. I think it's great because Shaq and Charles always have that like entertainment beef going on. And when Shaq laughs at a Charles Barkley joke or Charles Barkley laughs at Shaq, that's how you know
That is
it was good.
super
that
funny.
It's a good
I
joke.
agree. That's a good way to put it.
He's not wrong. Lonzo's building a house. He's building a very, very strong house with some of the bricks. However, I think there's another stat we'll get to after it in just a
here we
second,
go.
which is going to show you. So his field goal percentage this season, in the paint, it's the worst in the NBA. Outside the paint, it's the second worst in the NBA. He would be the first player in NBA history if he does finish under 30% from the field, 20% from three, I believe, and under 55% from the free throw line. So it's not even like his shooting struggles are being taken care of at the line. But here's the number, that element number 9 has the stats that are equally as important because it's not just a game about shooting. He's second in assists, third in rebounds, fourth in steals, and second in blocks amongst all rookies. It's just the easiest thing to focus on is how much is he scoring.
Right.
And while Ben Simmons has been truly the only outstanding rookie thus far, nobody else has really broken out from the pack. So I'm still on team Lonzo Ball.
I am with you in that boat.
And I always will. I think it's gonna take, I thought it was gonna be quick. I did. I thought he was gonna be immediate impact and it was gonna make the Lakers much better than they were last year. And now I have to pump the brakes and fall back to the, okay, Simmons is gonna be better than him for a couple of years. Let's check back in 3.
Jason, you need to like pull back on the Lonzo Kool-Aid. Just pull back, dude. Pull back.
Lonzo, wait till we get to the Julius Randle Kool-Aid. Oh my God, I'm chugging that
Why
shit.
does he need to pull back?
I'm
Why does it
chugging
have
that
to be
shit. He's a
Kool-Aid?
Laker fan.
Why is it?
I'm
Do
a
you
Laker
like
fan.
Kool-Aid?
I haven't had Kool-Aid since I was like 10.
Kool-Aid's the best.
I like Capri Sun. Can I be drinking the Lonzo Capri Sun?
Not a lot. Just pull back on it, dude.
Just pull back?
Because we've had this discussion in private before. It's like,
I know.
all he needs to do is put the ball in the basket. Do a better job doing that. Once he does that, he will be. He's a good player.
He's a
But
great
he'll be
player.
Right
he's
now
not a
he's-
great player.
He's
He's a
not
good
great player. He's a
player.
good player. He's a rookie.
He's right now.
Exactly.
Rajon
He is-
Ball.
It's like
He's not a Rajon
it's like
Ball.
Rajon Ball.
No.
It's like Dennis
Londo
Green.
Ball.
Like we are who we thought we were. Like we know who Lonzo
are.
is. This is just what he
I
is.
thought he was gonna be like. I thought he was gonna be like immediately. I thought he was gonna be what Ben Simmons was.
Ben Simmons. First
In
of all,
what way?
yeah,
Like
that's-
immediately making the team go from not playoffs to possibly playoffs.
But I
if
feel
not
like
better.
Ben Simmons was especially
He had a year.
he did have a year, and there wasn't as much pressure on him
Oh, for sure.
to be this great player. You have the Magic Johnson test, and everyone has their eyes on your dad is like the loudest guy in the
very
NBA.
fair point.
And now your brother is caught stealing, and your little brother has a better shoe than you. There's so much.
Oh, you're just gonna slip that in there?
Slowly sprinkled it in. But there's so much.
That wasn't a sprinkle.
There's so much thrown at Lonzo right now. I didn't expect him, to be honest with you, to be great off the back. So that's where he took.
I did.
He drank too much Capri
I
Sun.
love
That was
it.
the problem there.
I
But
like Lonzo Ball.
I didn't expect him to be bad. I didn't expect him to be bad, and I agree. I don't think he's bad. I think he's doing great defensively. He's doing amazing at creating looks for his team, and he's letting the other guys shine. Meanwhile, the light's on him. Do I want him to score more and be a little more successful in that part? Of course. But I also think that maybe he's purposely being this trash
Damn.
from
Conspiracy.
No, he's not.
Hold on. Let me finish. Maybe there's a reason that he's 11th right now because he wants to show that the second or third season, it's like, yeah, you guys threw all that on me. Now look at me. I'm
Yeah,
great.
he's calm.
Because
We always talk about
everyone
this.
expects him to be great, so he's going outside of what everyone wants him to do. You don't think so? You don't think that that's a possibility? That
No,
he's doing this
I agree with you on that because
you.
having that expectation brought upon him by Magic Johnson, etc. It's not really a
Jersey
good
hang.
idea
You said Jersey
for a
hang
kid
the
that's
rafters.
20 years old and he's just starting out. Because Lonzo Ball in junior high school, probably the best player on his team.
Yeah.
In high school, probably the best player on the
college,
team.
best
In
player on the
college,
team.
Yeah.
best player on the team. NBA, now he's playing with the big boys.
I agree.
Different story.
I agree, but think about it. Like I feel like when I'm being looked at, right? If I'm doing something that I've been doing my entire life, the only difference is now I have this magnifying glass on me and I can't afford to make a mistake. I'm gonna make a mistake. It just happens. So I feel like, not to say that he's choking, but maybe there's just so much pressure, it's distracting him from the only thing that he has to do, which is focus on basketball. Not only is he in LA, which is the biggest team that, you have
Number one
so
sport,
many
yeah, for
distractions. It's the
basketball.
best city in the world. So, sorry,
I have one more
Chicago.
stat. I got one more stat that's really
But it
important.
doesn't
My
make
friend
sense.
Nick, Lonzo Ball dropped 3 rap songs in the last 2 months. All the rookies combined have dropped 0 rap songs.
There you go.
Those
Thank
are the
you.
facts.
Those are, and you know what? They haven't been great, but they haven't been bad.
Yeah, I hate to be the
So-
bearer of bad news, but like, who gives a shit about the rap records and
It's
stuff
just
like
a
that?
joke.
Like here,
Just a joke.
Okay, all right. But like the thing is,
Hey,
a lot of people
I got
do.
your joke, Jason.
But what's the narrative of when he drops like a rhyme? People, oh, he's so distracted. He's not focusing on the game. Like this is what he is. He's going to suck this year shooting the basketball. Everywhere else he's going to be fine. And I remember Jason and I were talking about like something that ESPN said about how he's more Rondo than everybody, and we'll get into Jason Kidd's thoughts on how it's wrong of people to compare him to Jason Kidd, which is accurate. But, and I tip my hand. However, we need to separate right now what his father has done, which is create this divide of how players want to go at him every chance they get, which I completely understand. If I were in the league, I would do so too. And separate that from Lonzo, because the only thing that he ever said that I was like, come on, dude. It was sort of Eli Manning-ish, where he was like, the only team that I want to go to, or the only team that I will only play for is the Lakers. That was his one flaw outside of the basketball court. On, he just can't shoot. He's more like being
Wait, you're saying his flaw is saying that
his flaw is that he wanted to, and this was probably coming from his dad, I have to believe, LeVar, is that they created this line where they drew it in the sand of being like, it's Lakers or nobody. So they were almost forced to do it. And then what do you know? He falls. Right there.
Yep,
and then out of
I'm in
nowhere,
thought.
I know. And then what do you know? He falls to where the Lakers are in the draft, and it's almost perfect because he achieved at Chino Hills, which is where in California.
Yep.
He achieved at UCLA, which is in California. It was only a storybook way of him going to the Lakers. Now, with all of that being said, what I personally see is shooting woes that will improve because he did play well in college.
Right.
Was he a tremendous shooter? No.
He's a good shooter.
But well, he shot 55 from the field. I don't have the numbers of what his mid-range game was. Basketball Reference doesn't have
Who
those.
said it was a lack of confidence? Because I think that person, was it Steven Jackson?
It was him.
Yeah.
He said that everything is getting to his head right now.
It was like a Steven Jackson or maybe a Jalen Rose. It was definitely an NBA player. It might have been Chauncey. I don't remember exactly who it was, like in the last couple of days, who said, where is that drive and that confidence he played with in college, because he looks sheepish when he's driving to the rim. And that's, look, you're in a new, bigger, faster, stronger league in the biggest spotlight. Obviously that comes with it. Some people rise up to that. Some people take their time to rise up to that. So, I mean, there was, like, it was Shaq. Shaq was saying, he's like, he was dunking in college, he was driving one-handed jams, he was getting creative around the rim, and now it's a little bit sheepish, which is not something you would think would last forever.
Right.
It's also been 12 games.
Right. Well, again,
A whole 12
to
games.
reiterate one more time, it's his rookie year.
Right.
He is going to improve.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine. And I understand that, like, maybe you had the expectation. I didn't really know what mine was.
Yeah, I had high.
You had him high, but like, I didn't think that he would turn them into a playoff team. I thought they'd be like a 10 seed maybe. They're going to be worse than that. But this is okay, because guess what? He has achieved at every single level.
Right.
He should fail. Like, Michael Jordan failed many times before he even succeeded. It's okay to fail. You learn more from failing than you do from succeeding.
It's true.
Man.
Learn from the mistakes.
Preach, please.
Well, also one more thing briefly. I think one avenue that Lonzo Ball could do to become a better shooter, and this is more on Coach Luke Walton, is pull back his minutes.
Right.
Have him sit on the bench for a while and just watch,
you do have
observe,
Clarkson
and
there.
learn. He's gotten a lot of minutes.
You got Clarkson there who could run the point.
Exactly, and then have
wanna
Clarkson
trade.
there and play a little
be
bit more
traded.
minutes, win some games, build some confidence. That could help him.
But
Good
I feel,
idea.
okay, so I feel like, and that's a perfect point. I feel like that's another thing that no one's considering. This is Luke Walton's first year being a head coach. And he's
Second.
Well,
Yeah. First with the Lakers.
First with the
First with his team in a
and
way.
he's
Right.
not,
First with not one of the greatest teams of all time.
and he's not necessarily, what is it, like the best example, I feel, of a confident coach, of a loud coach. And not to say that every coach needs to embody like a Doc,
Curry,
like a Doc kind of lead where it's like loud and you expect him to like pump you up in the locker room. I can't picture Luke Walton, let's go, gentlemen. You know, we really want to do this and that, and bump. Like I can't envision him telling the players like, this is, you know, we have to step up on defense, and you know, Lonzo, we really need you to get. I can't even envision him raising his voice. So how can I expect
Luke Walton or Lonzo?
Luke Walton.
Yeah, he's got the very like drowned out. In his, I like his press conferences though, because he's always talking really slow.
He's very monotone.
Lonzo's going to be doing fine. His confidence level's there. It's like, whoa.
Oh, he's like Belichick.
He's like the Zen master.
He is. So it's like, it's one
Well,
of
that would
those
be
where
Phil.
his coach is probably like, well, you know, you're doing good. You're doing good.
So what we need is Denise to go down to the Lakers huddle
You know what? I'd pretend that you guys were kids
twice a game
and
ream them out.
just really get.
This
you
would be a
guys
perfect time for the
energy.
lights to go down and just like the spotlight on Denise.
I'd give you the
And for
motivation.
her to just like do the pregame
the
speech.
pep talks that you need, and help elevate the game because the Lakers are indeed the best team in the world.
Oh, you're looking over at.
I couldn't even do that seriously. They're not there yet, but at one point.
Are you Whoopi Goldberg and Eddie? Like, what are you thinking about right now?
The Lakers will forever have my heart. I just think that Lonzo has so much pressure.
Really? We never knew.
And Luke Walton isn't necessarily the best example to get him the confidence that he needs. His dad is, but maybe his dad is intimidating him. So I just don't feel like the confidence, he doesn't have the examples that he needs to help in that department.
I have a great idea. So
yeah, please.
So when you were talking about his
Coach
dad, I have a great idea. What they should do, Luke Walton and Lonzo Ball should switch dads for a week.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Lonzo
That's
Ball
genius.
should
That
smoke a
is pretty good.
joint with Bill
That
and
is
just be
pretty
like, has there ever been a better player than Detlef Schrempf Lonzo? And like all they'll do is just chill and listen to the
He'll be
dad and
shirtless.
company and
That'd be
smoke
good.
joints.
Both be
and,
shirtless.
and he'll come back and he'll like start hitting threes like crazy. And like whenever he needs something, he'll just like carry Jerry Garcia's ashes and he'll just throw them and he'll rise up and start playing guitar.
This is genius. This is the most genius
they'll
thing
be
I've ever
fine.
heard. Rick single-handedly just fixed the Lakers system.
That's really good, man.
A dad switch. It'll be like Freaky Friday.
It would be exactly like Freaky Friday,
Except without Lindsay Lohan and what's the...
which will make it
let's get
even
together.
better.
Oh, from True Lies, right?
I don't remember her
Someone help
name.
me. The movie.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Thank you.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Thank you.
True Lies.
I
Great
didn't
movie.
watch
That's why we keep you around, Barbara.
You've never seen True Lies?
I don't think I have.
I don't think
Solid
I've seen True
flick.
Lies either.
Well, Ja'Cory, Bart, solid.
haven't seen
I'd give
True
it like a
Lies.
7.57. Yeah,
Never
True
seen
Lies with Arnold.
About a 6.
with Arnold
6.5.
Ja'Cory.
No,
A
not
one?
even voting. He
Well,
just
no,
said
go to his camp. If you're gonna go to Ja'Cory,
yeah.
at least go to his camp.
Better question. What does Ja'Cory's man bun think?
I've never seen it.
Oh, all right.
1994, according to IMDb, a
So,
fearless
3 out
globetrotting
of 5
terrorist
people.
battling secret agent has life turned upside down. We discovered his wife might be having an affair with a used car salesman.
So these are the kind of movies you like, huh?
Arnold, Jamie Lee Curtis,
suppose.
Tom Arnold, Bill Paxton. Nice.
Nice cast.
Solid
It's a good movie.
cast, actually.
Charlton Heston.
Pre-Tom Arnold going like batshit, by the way. It's like, cool, Tom Arnold.
Interesting.
All right.
Good stuff.
True Lies. You know what I was thinking?
flick.
I was thinking True Detective.
Oh, second season.
Second season.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Throw it in the dumpster. The Julius Randle trade.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, well, that's the order I have, unless you want to do Jason Kidd. Oh, Ben Simmons. We didn't do Ben Simmons yet. I'm an idiot. Sorry, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons.
Yo, have you seen his sister?
No.
Man.
She gorgeous.
Not to say that she's gorgeous. She's not. She's a very pretty girl, but she's just very. She plays basketball, and she has like these really good like
Handles?
rants.
Oh, rants.
Yeah.
Do you know her name?
I don't know her name. I was just like.
All right,
You just type
Instagram.
in Ben Simmons' sister.
On the Instagram,
Yeah.
no results found. People, no accounts found.
She's just very. I mean, she's amazing. I feel like.
By the way, is this what you envision with our show?
We got Olivia Simmons, Melissa Tribe. Is it Melissa Tribe?
Cold Quest?
No. That's definitely not her.
Olivia.
So what about Ben Simmons, guys?
Okay, well, we'll get to this. Sister laces. Oh, she laces in the ball. Okay, cool. Let's talk about Ben Simmons, and maybe even Ben Simmons' sister, based on how this conversation goes. He ripped the NCAA. We actually did this video when he did it, when he ripped the NCAA when he was at LSU, and now he's doing it again, which he rightfully should, because I have a personal vendetta against the entire National College Athletic Association.
Amen.
Quotes. First, from Uninterrupted, it's a dirty business. You have to put up with it, but at the same time, it taught me a lot. I have an image and people use it, but now I have the opportunity to control that. What I do and who I work with, it helped me, but at the same time, I felt it was very sneaky. Speaking of his time at LSU, Uninterrupted continued with this next quote, and then we'll get into the one he talked about on Showtime. I think I would have learned a lot by being around, more by being around professional athletes. Looking at it now, I don't even know what I learned financially or just being a person at LSU. I think I learned a lot more with this last year being in Philly and being a pro. And then he also said, and this was the one that we did when he ripped it on Showtime, this is about a year ago, maybe 8-9 months ago, the NCAA is really fucked up. Everybody's making money except the players. We're the ones waking up early as hell to be the best teams and do everything they want us to do, and then the players get nothing. They say education, but if I'm there for a year, I can't get much education. Amen, Ben Simmons. That's all I got. I'll go into more, but I will hear your guys' thoughts. Is Ben Simmons right? Is the NCAA completely fucked up, or is he overstepping?
I don't think he's overstepping. I feel like he's in a perfect place. Had he not been in the NBA yet, then he'd definitely be overstepping. But as he not necessarily graduated, but he's now in the position. Yeah, he moved on. He's in the position that he is. I think that he's using his voice in the right way. It's not something new to anybody.
No.
Everyone knows these players have been getting the shortest, if not no end of the stick. You have so many endorsements. Didn't Blake Griffin just give the?
Did you see the video?
Yeah, he just gave his alma mater. Yeah,
the Jordan Brand.
They're the Jordan Brand. They have
super cool.
They have Jordan Brand stuff. So it's just kind of like they're not getting any of the money. They have to go through so much BS just to get the looks that they need to get in the NBA, and it doesn't make any sense if you're fighting your heart out and you don't have. If you get injured, that's done.
Well, going further with that,
it's done.
One of the reasons why we absolutely despise the NCAA was that there was a case a long time ago where a player at TCU named Kent Waldrop was going up against Alabama. And what he did was he took a toss, he was playing running back, took a hard hit, he could not move. They immobilized his neck, they stretchered him off. And what ended up happening to him was he was paralyzed. And when he went to the courts to say, well, the school isn't paying for my medical costs, I think that's the least they could do, they then ruled, and we hate this term, and Jason and I have gone over this many times, but they ruled him a student first, athlete second. And that he was playing this game recreationally. And it wasn't a part of the academic system. He's a student first no matter what. He tried suing for workers' compensation. They did not hear him out. It took a few years, but then they rejected his case. They denied him workers' comp. He had to pay out of pocket, even though he earned the school, along with the NCAA, tons and tons of dollars representing both respective brands. Yeah. So Jason and I have gone on the record. We've never had respect for the NCAA. I like what Josh Rosen is doing. I like the glitches in the matrix with Ben Simmons, Josh Rosen, and many others who are speaking up, especially when they are in that system and speaking out against the system. I'm all for that. Another example is when UNC had academic fraud and they enrolled tons and tons of basketball and football players in independent studies was the name of the class. Now, all they had to do, 3 credit hours, all they had to do, it was not an attendance class. It was, again, mainly comprised of football and basketball players. All they had to do was take some bullshit test at the end, and they were given an A or a B every single time. Once an investigation was open, this is when we thought the floodgates were gonna open as well, but it didn't, unfortunately. Because what happened with UNC, they put it all on one professor, they fired him, he went away from the university, and they found no wrongdoing. The NCAA has always been a crooked corporation that has thrived off of 18 to 22-year-olds, let's say, who view this as a stepping stone instead of treating them as employees, because what they are doing is employees. They are employees of the university who are dictated by their coach's schedule, the practice schedule, playing games, making the entire university money, and they don't get a dime. So every time someone speaks out, I applaud them, because this is not how it should be run. This is not how amateurism should be run either.
I was gonna say, it's the only skill in this country that when you turn 18 you can't monetize. There's only 2 skills in the entire country that when you turn 18 you can't become rich from it, or at least get paid to do it, is football and basketball. The only 2 skills. If you wanna be, I've always used this example, you wanna be a plumber, you're a prodigy. You've never fixed pipes like anybody like this in their entire life.
Yeah.
You turn 18, you can open up your own business. Yeah. You're legally an adult, you're legally allowed to open a business. You can't have a beer yet, but you can fix pipes and become the greatest plumber in the history of the universe and make millions and millions of dollars, possibly maybe just thousands and thousands. It's a great example, the NCAA football one. There is a slight difference though with basketball, because the NCAA football has never been able to come out of high school to play professional football. With basketball, and why Simmons, just keeping it to basketball for a second, like it's even worse because one, the NCAA tournament makes more money than the college football playoff does, and by a lot, like by a pretty wide margin. It's the most money that the NCAA makes in a single month. On top of that, because there is a one and done rule in place, unless the NBA and NCAA can come to an agreement that it's the same as college football where it's at least 2 years, so technically you could try to revamp a system where you get an education for 2 years. Right now, these students are going there for actually 5 months, doing nothing but using it as a place to live, and then going straight to the NBA. There is no reason, if you are going to be drafted, to give two shits about the school.
Right.
So they got to get rid of the one and done. I think Adam Silver is getting very close to actually opening up those floodgates, because in basketball, it's a disgrace in football too, but at least there's 2 years you have to be there, and a lot red shirts are there for 3. So you're actually you could try to implement some kind of academic structure there and force kids into actually caring about school, even though Josh Rosen's right, why would he care when millions are being made for the school? So like paying NCAA football players seems like the route to go, and there is no correct answer yet on how to pay college athletes. The correct answer though is there has to be something put in place. A stipend system, money in a trust when you're done with school. If you're one of these athletes who isn't good enough to be drafted and you play for 4 years and you graduate with a 2.5 or higher GPA, you get your whatever, $825,000 stipend, however it works. But there's something that could be done. For basketball, you gotta get rid of the one and done. Because Ben Simmons is look, sometimes it doesn't work out. Sebastian Telfair was not a good NBA player, but he still had a career. And for some guys, they just go overseas. There is no reason in my mind that if I had a kid and they said he has to go to school for 1 year, I would send him overseas to play basketball, because he'd get better, he can get paid,
I would too.
He can learn a different style, and then he can come back and play in the NBA a year later. If not, send him right from high school. Bring back the jump.
Quick note about Ben Simmons.
Rant over.
Because he passed his classes his first semester, he didn't have to do anything second semester.
He didn't have to do anything first semester.
Well, the thing is, he would have been
exception.
ineligible the second semester.
He would have made an exception, and you know
No. I'm telling you what he told ESPN.
Right.
He said, like, because I passed my first semester, I didn't give a shit about second semester.
Right.
I didn't go to any classes. I didn't have to go to classes. Everyone knows why I was there. I admitted it even when I was going to LSU, that I'm using this as a platform and a stepping stone to get there. So as long as those kids who want to be one and dones in this horrific system that the NBA and NCAA has, as long as they pass their first semester classes. And like, look, I went to IU, like I took basketball for a credit hour, like twice a week, and it was the easiest thing. Someone could enroll, a basketball player rather, could enroll in 12 credit hours of pure bullshit and pass, and then they don't have to go the rest of the way in second semester because they're going to play March Madness and hopefully
I
get
did for
drafted.
about 116 credit hours at UR.
But I also think, like, I think the biggest problem and the biggest stepping stone is getting rid of the one and done rule.
Yes.
It's really tragic, because you're right. Not every player is going to be great in the NBA, especially if they're making that transition. It's no surprise. But the one and done rule, there's so much opportunity for wrongdoing, I guess is the most polite way.
It opens the floodgates.
Yeah, it's a more polite way to say it. It's just so much opportunity for wrongdoing, and for Ben Simmons to be very honest and say he doesn't know what he's learned. It's very raw, but it's very true.
Yeah.
The great thing about football is that you at least, we were talking about this off air, forcing things on people, right? And sometimes that's the best bet for you to see what it is that you're passionate about. In 1 year, God, I remember my first year of college. Like, it was dreadful. It was just like, there was so much for me to do that I was overwhelmed and didn't want to decide on one major. In fact, I switched majors. So it's impossible for you to think that the one and done rule is going to be like, okay, well, you know what? We're at least giving them the opportunity to experience college and find something that they're passionate about before making the transition to the NBA. It's ridiculous. And everybody knows that your first year of college should not be the year that makes you ready to go onto something like the NBA.
Super last point, and then I want to move forward because we have a lot to get to still. But and again, Jason and I have talked about this many times, but the one thing that I would never, ever want to do is hinder someone who comes from a lower class of society and say, nah, you gotta go make money for us before you can make your own money. It's just something that I've never been a fan of. If they could go to the NBA and get drafted in the second round and make $650,000.
Life-changing money.
It's a life-changing moment and it's life-changing money.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, we move forward. We'll wipe it and then come back and then wipe it again and then come back again. Damn. Ja'Cory on fire. Now we do Julius Randle. So speaking of players who was Julius Randle one and done from Kentucky? I believe
yes,
he was.
Yep.
Actually, everybody who goes to Kentucky in the NBA is a one and done at this point. So Julius Randle on the trade market for very, very specific reasons. The Lakers want to be able to sign not one but two max contracts next year, with players like Paul George being available, with players like, I don't know, that decent guy named LeBron James being available, with a couple of other contracts going to be up. Technically, Kevin Durant is available. The Los Angeles Lakers are going to need to not spend that money on Julius Randle. And while it crushes me, because I am on team Julius Randle and I will die on that hill, because I think Julius Randle will be a good role player for a different team elsewhere. I want him to be a good role player for the Lakers, but it doesn't make sense. The money doesn't add up for them. Therefore, his trade value is pretty high because somebody might get the opportunity to use him in a system for half a season, roughly, after the deadline. And then if they like how he fits, immediately have the first rights to pay him and have a chance at signing somebody whose value is going to be, he's going to be overpaid because that's how it happens when you're a free agent. Now everybody gets overpaid. And what's interesting is there's been a lot of murmurs about another Greg Monroe trade. And of course the Lakers also have to dump Luol Deng's contract too. So it's complicated. I don't necessarily believe that the Lakers are looking for any kind of player in return here. I think they're looking for picks. But I don't know exactly where the best destination is. Hoping my two friends over here would like to see him go somewhere.
No, to answer that,
Keep him?
no. I think we should. I just don't think that that's the best way to clear up that cap space. I feel like Julius Randle is what, like 22 years old.
22.
And he's by far like the most consistent player we have, probably the best player that we have on the team right now.
Whoa.
And I understand.
That might be true.
I feel one of the best. He's very consistent compared to like the lineup of rookies that we have. And trading him in, I get that we might have the opportunity to get LeBron, but as great of a player as LeBron is,
oh my God,
he's not as good as Julius Randle.
No.
You heard it here first.
I didn't say that.
He's the greatest.
I didn't say
D
that.
nice?
I didn't say that. Hold up. I didn't say that. I'm saying I don't know if I would want Julius Randle to leave and have LeBron come in. Like it just sounds
Denise,
like
of course you
I'm
would.
leaving I'm ditching my family member for this brand new cousin, like who's awesome as hell and is giving me, tickets to every game and stuff, but Julius Randle's my family.
Cool. That's cool. You keep Julius. Knicks will take Bron. It's good.
No.
We're fine. We're good. It's cool. No,
You
this
get
is
that
a fair deal.
Porzingis. What if you trade Porzingis? You want to trade Porzingis for LeBron?
There's videos of me last year. I think
but
I
this is
tried.
this year.
Can you
But
answer that,
this year.
by the way?
What?
Would you trade Porzingis for LeBron? Yeah. Thought so, buddy. Thought so.
But you're saying that Julius Randle is on the same plane as
No, I wouldn't.
I'm not.
Zinger.
You're just
I'm
saying,
not saying
no,
that.
I wouldn't. I
That's
wouldn't trade him for LeBron because it's not like he's gonna win. The team's not good enough to win with LeBron for the next 2 years. Porzingis in 2 years will be 24, and I want them to build around Porzingis as well.
That's exactly how I feel about Julius Randle. I feel like there's so much potential for Julius that it doesn't make sense for him to be on this trading play.
I think it's the money thing. So on top of it, too, here's the reason why it does make a little bit of it does make sense because Kyle Kuzma is the better rookie right now than Lonzo Ball. We kind of talked about Lonzo Ball. We didn't even mention Kuzma, who I was very wrong about too. I wasn't sold in preseason that he was going to be as good as he looked. Yeah. He is as good as he looks, and he's not even getting the minutes to show for it. And Larry Nance's injury is what makes this Randle deal a bit scarier because Larry Nance is promising.
He is.
And he can be as consistent. He definitely can be. Besides, he's a fan favorite because of how high he can get off the ground, man. He's got his father's genetics and he's going up there and dunking it like the old man. So
and he plays with so much heart.
Yes,
Can we just talk about
He fights.
Lance is just amazing. But continue.
So because of that injury, it's a little scary. In a perfect world where nobody gets injured and Kuzma gets more minutes, Randle's just kind of like the odd third piece. What it kind of reminds me of this forward rotation that they have is not all that different from when the Suns had the guard rotation of Isaiah Thomas, Goran Dragic, and Eric Bledsoe, I believe. And Dragic went to the Heat, and it took him a few years, but he's become instrumental in them being good. And of course, everyone knows what happened with Isaiah Thomas. Came Mr. Fourth Quarter and was in the top 10 in scoring and everything with that. And he's going to come back and he'll be offensively good, and defensively he can't be because he's 5'2". So it's a similar thing where I think all these players will have good futures wherever they go. I just wanted Julius Randle to be in that Lakers spotlight, because I think, as Denise is putting it, in terms of the consistency, he's a fighter. He's a fighter, and he constantly works, even though his game looks like Draymond Green's.
Right.
I'm a fan of the spaz game, which is like, it's not going to be the prettiest looking three-pointer, but it goes in.
I just think they should wait until the offseason and decide how they want to handle him.
True, dude.
Because honestly,
but if you think that
some
they're
teams
not
might want
going to, if you think he's going to walk and you want to try and sign the free agents that Jason said, you get ahead of the 8 ball.
I get
and you
that.
trade him now in order to not only clear up space, but get some picks in return.
I get that.
So there's many things that we need to address here.
Do you know where you can go? Did you put together like ideas of who could be traded?
Yeah, every single team that I thought he would be a good fit, the money doesn't really add up.
Did the Wizards at all add up? Because I thought the Wizards would be a really good fit for him.
I think I had the Wizards on here as well.
I think that's a player that they could use.
I thought so too.
And somebody even mentioned on Reddit the Celtics swapping Morris for him. Markieff. There's only one Morris.
Yeah, they're the same. They're the same. What's the John Oliver?
Mary Kate Wilson.
Yeah.
They move really
okay, so the teams that I thought would be good fits are Milwaukee, because they're trying to win, but there's no good contracts that would come back. John Henson's under contract for 3 years. Thon Maker's under contract for 3 years. What they're trying to do is get expiring contracts, so that didn't fit.
Greg Monroe's the only one I can think of.
Who's now on
I know,
Phoenix.
it just says like the ink isn't even dried on his deal.
Right. So
if he was to go to the Bucks, by the way,
I think it'd be great. It'd be fun, but there's
they've
just
become one of my favorite teams by far,
right.
Especially with
unless they
Bledsoe
flip them
playing.
around and trade for like other things, you know.
I would never do it. I'm saying they're one of my favorite teams to watch. My favorite team of all time to watch is the Lakers. I would never put anybody before the Lakers.
By the end of
not even LeBron.
She's gonna be like, I think the Knicks are the best team in the world.
But I mean,
like,
LeBron is not a team. LeBron is not a team.
LeBron is a team.
LeBron is a team.
He's the only guy that could take a shit team to the finals, actually.
This is true. This is
shit
true.
team.
But I would still prefer my Lakers over LeBron.
Okay.
Sorry.
Look, we've worked together how many times?
Not enough, actually.
5.
Not enough for you to say
If I were to
something
cut
right
your arm, it would bleed purple
punch
and
you.
gold, okay?
Yeah,
I would expect that, but just for a test, it would bleed purple and gold. Because to say that you would rather have Julius Randle than LeBron is one of the most asinine things I've ever heard in my life. You are taking away one of the greatest players of all time, who is not only bona fide to be a Hall of Famer the first time that he goes on the ballot, he's going to get more votes than Ken Griffey Jr. and be the first ever 100% vote that we have seen. On top of that, he can play all 5 positions. He can lock down anybody at any time, anywhere. He stays healthy. He's a fucking freak of nature. I would take LeBron every day, twice on Sundays, for 9 Julius Randle.
It just sucks
he
that
is amazing.
Julius Randle.
Okay, listen.
He is incredible.
You need to tone it down a little bit.
To my
Drink some of that coffee.
No, that's what hyped me up.
Actually, stop. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
As my grandmother would say, water with lemon.
No. Here's the thing. Julius Randle is the greatest basketball player of all time. And in this world
I didn't say that.
on this flat earth that we have, it's like there's no hill for me to die on.
Here we go.
There is no hill for me to die on because on this earth there are no hills.
Now listen. You decided not
Stay
to
woke,
trade.
children.
Listen, you decided not to trade Porzingis for LeBron. You decided clearly.
But
You made it clear. Hold on.
yes.
You made it clear. Your team is what? The Bulls, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's tough.
Exactly.
That's tough.
There's
I'm
nobody.
sorry.
Would you change
that's why
Bobby
you're so
Portis?
passionate
I would
about it.
trade Laurie Markkinen, Bobby Portis,
Here's the
Fred
thing.
Hoiberg.
Here's the thing. Here's the
I'd
thing.
trade them
Here's
all.
the thing.
But you can't really. I mean, you're not in the position to say that.
Different. I
You're not
have
in the position to say that.
I have a better question that puts it in a little bit of different context, but I think it has the same outcome here. Would you trade? Would you get rid of all these guys, all of this team that the Lakers are building for these to have these contracts available, knowing you're not guaranteed to get anybody? But let's say you do get LeBron, but in 4 years, he does not win you a championship.
Yeah.
You are back to
that?
playoff glory. You're back in the Western Conference Finals. Maybe you're back in the NBA Finals, but in this hypothetical, in this what if, there is no championship.
For 4 straight years?
So I'm saying that because by that point, LeBron will be at the point where like you would think at 37 years old, he's not going to be able to carry like he does now. At some point, he has to slow down. It doesn't seem like it for 2 or 3 years, but you would think by 36. Right. You would think at some point the Kobe effect will happen. There has to be some sort of injury at some point that just hinges him a little bit. So if there's no championship, you get back to playoff glory, you get back to winning 55 games a year, like the Lakers already sell out anyway, so they have no problem with that. But you're not guaranteed a championship. It's not like Randle goes out and becomes an All-NBA.
I know this is a what if.
It's not like Randle goes out and becomes an All-NBA player. But when you look back and say, man, we chased these free agents, we didn't get the outcome we want.
I think, first off, it's a what if scenario.
Yes.
Right.
So we're not simulating this through NBA 2K, so it's like impossible for me to say.
It's very possible.
But I would take LeBron if I had the chance to get him any day of the week because he has proven, once again, to reiterate my first point, that he can take any shit team to the finals because he's that dominant of a player. I would take him any day of the week. Whatever scenario. By the way, when he was a free agent, every team had an interest in him because he's a once-in-a-generation player.
He is.
That's
he's
why
an
you
amazing
take
player,
him.
and
This really isn't hard.
Right.
Like he is incredible. If you have a chance to get him, you get him. Like that's.
It's just that there's no guarantees. That's the thing, and that's one of the things. It's like that's the devil's advocate take, and this has nothing to do with a what if. It's you're mortgaging a lot. And not saying, again, I have to make this very abundantly clear. I don't think Julius Randle ever becomes an All-NBA player. I don't think he even makes an All-NBA defensive third team, potentially. But it's not like he's trash. Julius Randle is somebody who, if you put him on a better team, you're going to see a much better return. So that's why I say like the Wizards or the Celtics, or you go have him play in a upbeat tempo team like a Warriors or a Rockets, like that type of thing is what I'm saying. Like he will be magnified to be better than he is because the Lakers are a bad team right now.
Yeah.
So everybody is magnified to be worse.
They're just not.
They're not a good team. Not a good team. So the question, like when you're mortgaging these things, like if the outcome isn't getting LeBron James, then no, this isn't worth it. What the Lakers are telling you as an organization is we need to get LeBron. So to your point, which is correct, we are going to do whatever we can to give LeBron the most money. He's already living in Brentwood. We want to bring him back to where his home technically is now, and we want to have him lead us back to glory. So lastly, like one of the outcomes of this, as you already see, is like D'Angelo Russell, who's going to finish top 10 in scoring this year and has made the Nets already a better team than they were last year, like a lot of people because of they're too quick on the Lonzo Ball take. So I think there's some hypocrisy when it comes to you want to give Lonzo time to develop, right? You want to build around Lonzo, but you also want to bring in LeBron, who takes the keys, obviously, to the entire franchise. Nobody has a say anymore after LeBron's there. Not even Magic. It's LeBron's team when LeBron comes to LA. And he's going to get you to the finals, if not 4 straight Western Conference Finals, because he is that good. We know that.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of hypocrisy there when you have all these young pieces and you're bringing in the 34-year-old, at this point, 33-year-old veteran. Whereas,
32.
What's up?
32.
He will be 33 when he signs. He'll be 33 when he signs. So, but there's of course, lastly, the other 13th side of this die is LeBron makes everybody better. So like Lonzo playing with LeBron, that's going to make Lonzo a better player. Brandon Ingram playing with LeBron, that's going to make Brandon Ingram a better player.
Absolutely.
A rising tide lifts all ships.
I just
he
think
is the tide.
Going back to bringing it full circle to make it about Julius Randle, I just think that the Lakers, it wouldn't be a bad idea to roll the dice and wait until the summer when he's a free agent.
And dump the other contracts. Dump Dang.
It's not a bad, rolling.
Maybe LeBron wants Julius Randle.
Exactly.
Boom!
Maybe the earth is flat. I mean,
it could be. It could be.
By the way, the one other team that I really liked for Julius Randle.
I joke. The earth is as round as a ball. Balls around.
Football? Like what kind of ball?
Carl's ball.
Carl's ball. The one other team that I really liked, which I thought would be a really good starting five, is Portland. But they don't have necessarily the expiring contracts.
LeBron, I agree.
Huh?
I think Portland should sign.
Yeah,
LeBron.
agree. Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Evan Turner, Julius Randle,
right. No,
Yusuf
that's
Nurkic.
Yeah, that would be.
I really like that. I just couldn't find a
You
scenario
guys get
that
Damian back in return. No, I'm just kidding.
worked. Totally.
Dame time, he can't leave Portland. It would break him.
Time.
You seen the all black Dame? Oh, awesome. They're so awesome. I know, Julius Randle's gonna be the greatest.
All
I'm
right.
titling that clip, Will Julius Randle be the greatest player?
Yeah, totally.
Be like 1,000
All right, let's do a list one. Whatever you guys want. Let's do
Iverson.
big man or individual record. And we'll save Iverson for next week.
Okay.
By the way, thanks everybody for watching live.
Let's do Denise's Instagram my take first, actually, because Denise wanted to do this last week and we didn't get to it. So let's get to that.
We're gonna do that right now?
Are you ready for it?
Sure.
Well, you said that was the email.
Yeah, that's true. Let's do it.
Yeah, like a deer in headlights when he looked at the camera.
You can
like,
do it in multiple takes. There's no worries.
Isn't it live though?
Yeah, it's live. But like my
does
mom's
this work?
watching, so
Oh,
you're
okay.
good. Yeah,
Mama's Storm.
Nobody's strong.
So wait, does that mean we won't get to the big men of all time?
No, we will.
Okay.
Do it super quick.
Well, no pressure.
A lot. Here, I'm having a Lonzo moment.
Oh, damn.
Here we go. don't get him.
Bricks. Don't like my jump.
That was actually really good.
It's like my
You intentionally shot from the other side.
My jump shot is not nearly as good.
Are you
as
a lefty?
Lonzo's. No.
Oh.
But honestly,
right. That was
no,
great.
this is my left. This is Lonzo shooting left. But
Yeah,
Lonzo's a
Lonzo's
lefty.
an
so
ugly
it's
shot form, but that's okay.
All right.
We're not judging on shot form.
Mine's not necessarily good.
3, 2,
Wait.
1.
What?
Whoa.
Go.
Okay, here we go. All right, guys, this is a lot of pressure. Oh man.
All right. Let's do the
big man.
do the
We'll let you
Do the big
recycle.
man.
Yeah,
recycle.
thank you.
All right.
Here we go.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. My
You're
bad.
good.
All right, go ahead.
What's the clapping for, by the way?
The editors, so they know where to cut.
Ah, smart.
Clap.
Thank you.
Oh,
See?
clapper.
Yeah, a lot of clapping here.
All right.
Wow.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, I'm doing it.
Go.
Big man. Big man.
Greatest big man
Big
of all
man.
time.
Who is the greatest big man of all time? That is the question for the audience to discuss in the comment section below. And for those who don't even take the time to see our lists, hash it out. Because there's a lot of people who go, they see the title, they click, sometimes they play the video, or they hit mute, and they just scroll down. They look at the comments. You know why I know that? Because I do that to other YouTube channels.
Wow.
Give them the view, give them the like, and then start looking at what they're saying about them. The greatest big man of all time is a tough argument to make. Hold on, go back.
Whoa.
I haven't even gotten there yet.
Whose list was that?
I have to.
Is
that your list?
Yes, but I have to. This is something that I always do. So
Okay.
those who aren't going to stay to listen to this can go in the comment section below.
Wow.
I don't rank anybody in any sort of way, neither be tiers or 1 through 10 or 1 through 5, before Magic Johnson came into the league, because I just believe it's such a completely different game. That like if you took any of these big men and put them in that era, they would have averaged the exact same numbers, in my opinion,
Yes.
as Wilt and Bill Russell. Wilt and Bill Russell are the 2 greatest big men of all time. Statistically, there is no arguing it. But for fun, to get in some other names and to give some credit to some players who don't get it, that's where my top 5
Allow me to
comes into
emphasize real quick, we did not have that same criteria.
No, this is just
it's
me.
It's subjective,
Just
this is
me.
Jason's list. I want to make
Just
that
me.
clear.
It's also easier because the games are a little bit similar from like when 73 to now. Like as what do you call it? They're playing friggin' deli owners and like butchers and like shoe sales.
Matthew Dellavedova?
Yes, that's pretty much what they were playing against. It's a bunch of Matthew Dellavedovas. Here is my list, and it's a big shout out to Moses Malone. I thought Kareem, great
Most
scorer.
so underappreciated.
Yes.
Yes.
Hakeem Olajuwon, probably the greatest footwork of any big man we've ever seen. The big man himself, I think there's a strong argument for Shaq being the greatest big man of all time, because nobody was as powerful.
Yeah.
David Robinson, just like Tim Duncan, he was asked to do something and he would go out and do it. Whatever the team needed that day, we need you to score. No, then I'm just gonna score. We need you to just crash the offensive glass, and I'm getting you 27 offensive rebounds. We need you to play interior defense, well, I'm gonna block 9 shots then. David Robinson was like one of the best utility men in the history of the game. And then long forgotten is Moses Malone, who had like a 10-year peak of monstrous numbers and just great success in Philly, great success in Philadelphia. So I don't think he gets enough love.
He doesn't.
So real quick,
they're not just big men. This is centers, really.
Right.
Right, correct. So throw up his list one more time. Why did you put Hakeem? Thank you. Why did you put Hakeem in front of Shaq?
He didn't have a specific order, he said.
No, I did.
What?
No, I
Oh,
did.
you
No,
did?
this is my order. Hakeem in front of Shaq because, well, Shaq is the definition of power.
Yes.
Like, who's the most powerful big man ever? That would be Shaquille O'Neal, and there's really no debating it. He would bully you out of the way. Hakeem could do more than Shaq, I thought, in terms of facilitating, and I thought in terms of nifty footwork and being able to be a little bit more, I'm not sure if athletic is the right word, but Hakeem's such a rare case because he was a soccer player, and they turned him into a basketball player. And he had like I think Joel Embiid represents so much of Hakeem Olajuwon that I thought he can transcend different eras. So when I think that Hakeem, look, this is 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and 1E. If you asked me to take any of these guys, I would take anyone with the first overall pick in a draft.
But the most important point, Jason, is that they're not better than Julius Randle.
No, he's the greatest player in the history of the game.
By the way, I want to do this in NBA 2K. I want to simulate a one-on-one game between Shaquille O'Neal and Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Julius Randle, because if you want me to drop 45 points, 23 rebounds, 17 assists, 9 blocks.
It's the running theme of the show. All right, Denise Jones.
All right. Is my list up there? Oh, no.
I copied him.
I'm just not that. It's okay. You know
what?
I get no love. I
have
get no
greatest
love here,
big men.
guys. I'll just say my list.
Meg, we'll add the list. Here we go. Number 1.
Kareem.
Nice.
Number 2. I'm really hurt that you didn't have this person on your list, by the way.
So sorry.
Chamberlain.
Nice.
Excuse
Kareem
my
ahead of Chamberlain.
Excuse my,
Wilt at number 2.
my accent.
Okay.
Here we go. Number 3.
Yep.
We shared this one alike. Shaq.
Damn. Nice.
Number 4, Moses Malone, of course.
Yes. Love.
And I had to put Walton in there, man.
Who? Luke?
Definitely not.
No, Hakeem.
Definitely not.
You're breaking my heart.
No.
Kareem,
I'ma tell you
Wilt,
why I
Shaq,
didn't put-
Moses, Bill, Walton.
You're breaking my heart.
I'm gonna tell you why I didn't put Hakeem, because I felt like everyone here was gonna put that on there, and everyone was gonna sleep on Walton. Just like Moses Malone, I feel like Bill is definitely that player who doesn't get the love that he deserves. Like, I feel he definitely put in, not to say, again, he's not better necessarily than Hakeem, but
Is this just the love list?
It's
Who
just a
deserves
love
some
thing,
love?
yeah. Because he's a great asset that's constantly stepped on. I don't even know how to put it. Like, I don't want to say that he's necessarily better, but because he's not statistically better, but he's
high
just
impact.
overall a better player to watch, in my opinion. And he didn't get the credit that he deserves, so I wanted to shine light and put him on the top 5 list, even though my top 5 isn't on there.
No one can see that.
No one can see that, but in my heart, they see
You know
how
what's
much.
funny when we
they
do
see
it,
how
when we
much I
add it
say.
in post,
Yeah.
it's gonna be there.
It's gonna be there. Yeah, it's gonna be there.
Well,
All
now
right.
maybe it
guys.
won't be.
Jesus
Now it
walked
probably
in,
won't
so
be.
let's get to mine and then we'll wrap up. So
What's yours?
Jesus.
my thank you. My top 5: Bill Russell, won 11 times in 13
True.
years.
It's decent.
It's a fucking shoo-in.
He's
Kareem
incredible.
Abdul-Jabbar is number 2. He leads the NBA in points. Shaquille O'Neal I have on there. Wilt Chamberlain I have on there, but he obviously would have been way higher if he ever dethroned Bill Russell in the 5 times that they went after each other. And then to put that up one more time, my number 5 was the Dream Shake, Hakeem Olajuwon. We are getting kicked out right now. Where do you all stand? Let us know. That's my camera. In the comment section below. Subscribe to TYT Sports.
Badoom.